What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking to the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin. So let's see what they have to say.
Now, you know I'd be remiss having you on the live national television in front of me, Coach. I'd be remiss in neglecting to ask you about Antonio Brown, a former player of yours. He's been very, very contrite as of late, apologetic to you, apologetic to the Steelers organization, specifically apologetic for Big Ben Roethlisberger, and obviously that coincides with him looking for a job. Would you and the Steelers consider bringing Antonio Brown back in light of the mea culpas or the contrition that he has displayed?
I'll say this, once a Steeler, always a Steeler. We had great success over the course of 9+ years with Antonio. We're always going to be interested in his growth and development as a man, and we'll be open to assisting him in that, but we have no current business interest at this time.
So that was the coolest, most polite, most polished, most professional way I have ever heard anybody say, heck no. Mike Tomlin is truly a class act. So let's continue.
How is Ben Roethlisberger doing? How is he looking right now?
Man, he looks great, but he's not doing anything. So, you know.
He looks great, but he's not doing anything?
No, he looks awesome, man. But he hadn't been asked to do anything as it pertains to his rehabilitation. The process day to day is going great, but we're not at a significant crossroads, and it's going to be a number of days before we are.
Do you expect him to be ready for opening day?
I have no hesitation, and I base that opinion on my experience and relationship with him and being around him for the number of years that I have. This guy is the ultimate competitor. He's dropped the gauntlet down. He's made a statement that he's coming back, and I look forward to watching him answer that challenge.
What?
So I'm happy to hear that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be coming back for another year to give it one strong push to get to another Super Bowl. So Ben Roethlisberger's been to 3 Super Bowls, and he's won 2 of them. So I knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer in his second year when he won his first Super Bowl. So I'm just really happy to hear another veteran coming back and to give it one good last go. Because, like I said, the veterans of his time period are all starting to retire. I mean, you look, Eli Manning's gone. Peyton Manning was a little bit before Ben Roethlisberger. He's gone. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are starting to retire now that in his class. So I'm just happy to hear that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be coming back and give it one good push, just like with Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and all those guys. So let's continue.
What would you suggest happen from here? Obviously, in a perfect world, we'd forget it and we move on, but that's not the world we're living in, particularly with the advent of social media and beyond. But specifically as it pertains to the National Football League, in their dealings with you, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the Cleveland Browns, with Myles Garrett, who had his indefinite suspension lifted. He served the final 6 games of the regular season, and that's it. He'll be back for next season. Is there anything at all that you think the NFL can do to sort of assuage concerns regarding this particular incident?
You know, that I don't know that ball's in their court. I know our position is we've had a desire to move on from the moment it happened, and so that's what we attempted to do. But when this interview came back up this weekend, we thought that Mason needed to be defended. And so we were placed in these circumstances. This is not something that we desire to be involved in, to be quite honest with you. We're getting ready for free agency and position ourselves for the Indianapolis Combine and trying to build a winner for 2020.
So the best way to avoid the situation that happened last year with Myles Garrett is to not try and rip off a guy that's 6'6", 280 pounds. Don't try to rip off his helmet. And while you're doing that, don't try and kick him below the belt. That'd be one of the best ways to not have a type of situation to where you get bust upside the head like you won the games at Chuck E. Cheese. So let's continue.
Has been on the record saying he views this as a sort of character assassination. I believe I'm quoting him. Those were the words that he used. Could we anticipate him exploring potentially legal actions, considering the fact that Garrett has made these assertions against him? Do you anticipate that at all? And if so, would you discourage it?
You know, I'm not going to speak for Mason and his representation or try to anticipate their next move. I'd imagine their next move is based on how these things unfold moving forward. I think it's probably best that we all shut up and move on, but I had that attitude months ago, and it hadn't transpired. So I would expect him to do what was appropriate in terms of protecting his name and reputation, and I would do so aggressively, and I don't blame him.
So I would definitely say that this is the type of stuff that's leading to it should be go off the field. This isn't anything that's happening on the field. All this should be happening behind closed doors. If whoever wants to press charges or file slander charges or whatever the situation is. But again, if you don't try and rip the helmet off somebody and then try to kick them below the belt, don't be surprised when that person comes after you and wants to have some words with you and swing their hands at you. Like I said, don't start a fight if you're not ready to fight. Don't start crying and then talk about why did this happen to me when you try to rip someone's helmet off and try to kick him below the belt. But like I said, all this, the pressing charges or whatever they want to do, all that should happen off the field, behind closed doors. They have a season to get ready for. And yeah, so let's continue.
With that being said, how concerned are you for his well-being? Football is a very violent sport, and I'm talking about within legal means. I mean, following the rules of the game, coach. But if you've got players out there, particularly players of African-American descent, who might find Myles Garrett truthful in his assertions or his allegations against Mason Rudolph, you never know what that could lead towards. Are you concerned at all for the well-being of your quarterback?
No, I'm not. Not as it pertains to play. I just think his reputation needs to be defended and defended aggressively.
And when you say his reputation...
Okay, so let me step in real quick. I'm sorry for stopping so many times. But Mike Tomlin should probably be worried about his quarterback because the whole reason why Rudolph got hit is because his O-line let Myles Garrett get through and sack Mr. Rudolph. So that's definitely something you need to worry about. Now those dogs are really going to be coming after Mr. Rudolph if they believe what Myles Garrett said about him. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll stay neutral with that. But as far as them fighting and all that, don't start a fight with somebody unless you're ready to take whatever the punishment they're going to give back to you. Because it's not up to you how they should handle it. If you hit somebody, you try to rip someone's helmet off and then you kick him below the belt, whatever they do to you is whatever they decide to do. There is no, oh, well, you can't do this even though I did that. No, you can't control what that next man's going to do. That's why you don't do that type of stuff to people because you don't know how people are going to react to you. If he would have pushed you, fine. Okay, but he decided to bust you upside the head with your own helmet, and it is what it is. Had you not tried to take off his helmet and kick him below the belt, we probably wouldn't be talking right now. But let's continue.
Reputation needs to be defended and defended aggressively. What should the reputation of Mason Rudolph be, according to his coach, who obviously knows him better than most? What is his reputation? What should it be?
He's a hard-working, what you see is what you get guy. He's not capable of those things. But again, that perspective comes from being around him day to day. I'm not trying to sell you or your viewers. I'm just here to support him and provide a little bit of perspective that I don't think was provided in that piece this weekend.
By the way, did you agree that he should have received the $50,000 fine or that Pouncey should have been suspended for the 2 games he was suspended for coming to the defense of his quarterback?
I'm not getting into that, Stephen A. There's a lot with the fine schedule that I disagree with. We respect the decisions that come down from New York, and we own our actions, and we try to continue to stay focused on the things that we can control, and that's the things that lie ahead. So that'd be spilt milk crying over that and judging that. That's already come down. Guys have already had an opportunity to state their case from an appeal standpoint. Those decisions have been levied, so it serves no purpose to rehash that from my perspective.
I know that you focus on your team and pretty much that's it. That's what you do. That's what you've always been about. But in light of what Myles Garrett has said, do you have anything that you'd like to say to him directly?
I don't, and my presence here today is not an attack on Myles Garrett. It might be indirectly, but I'm here to defend Mason Rudolph and the perspective that I have surrounding the situation, whether it's the altercation itself, what transpired immediately after, or the subsequent